Okay. So we are Masters of Business Administration at UMI, Uganda Management Institute, and we are looking at public-private partnerships. Our case study is GULU Logistics Hub, which is a project where the government of Uganda and the private sector partners are joining forces to transform GULU into a thriving logistics and trade hub, driving economic growth and prosperity within northern Uganda. So my team members are going to be taking us through the different aspects of this project, and allow me to welcome Deogracious to take us through the background and the strategic suitability. Deogracious, over to you.
Thank you. To begin with, let us define public-private partnership. So PPP are contractual means to deliver public assets and public services. In simple terms, it's a partnership between public entities and private partnerships to deliver public assets and public services. As we highlighted that we shall be focusing on GULU Logistics Hub. GULU Logistics Hub is located in northern Uganda. It's a PPP project that is meant to deliver infrastructure project and with an integrated trade facilitation center in northern Uganda. This project is jointly funded by European Union, United Kingdom's Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, which is formerly known as DFID, and the government of Uganda, with support from Trademark East Africa. The European Union and FCDO are primarily meant to provide the grant for the project, while the government of Uganda is contributing to the counterparts funding, and works will be done through the Uganda Railway Corporation. So Trademark East Africa is meant to collaborate with these partners to manage project implementation, ensuring that the hub is successfully designed and constructed. So this facility will integrate road and potential rail infrastructure to support import and export activities and facilitate regional growth at the same time. So it was primarily conceptualized to improve and facilitate market penetration in South Sudan and DRC Congo. So the key features of this project include warehousing and cold storage facilities, container handling and freight consolidation areas, custom clearance, and truck parking. So amongst the key items that we are trying to assess, we focused on strategic suitability. And under strategic suitability, we were majorly interested in the following indicators: the scope of the project, the identification of service need, the assessment of service delivery and alignment with the government development project. So this project aligns with the NDP4 Vision 2040, which is meant to develop infrastructure, transport to enhance regional trade. Well, I will welcome the next facilitator to take you through other item that we assessed, that is preliminary feasibility. Immaculate, over to you.
Thank you, Deo. So the preliminary screening of GULU Logistics Hub under the PPP model indicated a very strong overall feasibility rating of 4.83 out of 5. This rating reflected high readiness for the advancement of the full feasibility and the procurement stages that will be undertaken in the project. The project demonstrated a strong technical, legal, environmental, and social foundations, though with notable data gaps in the financial and economic aspects. The overall assessment of the GULU Logistics Hub PPP project is technically feasible, legally sound, and socially and environmentally beneficial to the community. And the primary gaps relating to the financial and economic data will be addressed through a detailed feasibility and market study. The overall assessment is that the project is very strong with a rating of 4.83 as stated, and it indicates a high readiness for progression to the next phase, positioning the project as a potential benchmark for logistics in the PPPs in Uganda and the wider region. Thank you. Over to you, Wilson.
Thank you. I'll be taking us through the stability of this project to be considered as a PPP. And first, this project is proposed under the model of design, build, finance, operate, and transfer. So the private entity or the private partner will design, build, finance, and operate the project, the facilities, and then they will transfer it to the public partner, who is the government of Uganda. Under this, the private partner will provide most of the funds, with some small percentage coming from the government of Uganda. In this stability, considering the factors that make this project suitable to be a PPP, we will look at the value for money assessment and the market appetite. The value for money assessment showed the strong, the project has a strong value for money and also a moderate market appetite from the private investors. The overall score for the stability is 4.5, which is strong. Next slide, please. Next slide. These are the factors we looked at in the stability, and these include affordability, risk allocation, legal framework under which we have the PPP Act of 2015, which will guide in the running of the project. We have the project scale and the market appetite that have said we assessed. So that is it, and this is what makes this project suitable for it to be a PPP project. So I call upon the next participant to take us through the physical affordability, and that is Christine.
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, Wilson. On the physical affordability, we looked at two main indicators. That is, one, the extent and nature of government fiscal support, and the next one was quantification of fiscal support. And according to the what we assessed, it gave us a score of 3.82, which gives which indicates that the project is moderately strong in terms of fiscal affordability. So this means that the project is fiscally manageable, and the project, the public sector's contribution, possibly through viability gap funding or land provision, remains within the reasonable budgetary limits. Thank you. Over to you, Christine.
Thank you, Ignatius. Having heard from the preliminary feasibility, suitability, and affordability, it's agreed that this project is conceptually strong and adequate. However, there might be several readiness challenges that we anticipate. Despite the availability of land, there is need to confirm site ownership and boundaries needed. We also identify that one readiness gap is that the environmental assessment is not yet done, so it's yet to be concluded, and that will indicate readiness for this project. Our stakeholder engagement with a number of stakeholders involved in this project, it requires a comprehensive plan to address the local and political interests. With the given the several stakeholders that are involved, right from the Ministry of Works, Uganda Railway Corporation, the donors, as well as the community and the respective local government that is involved. The institutional arrangements, the project is ready to start with the steering of Uganda Railway Corporation as the contracting agency. However, there is need to strengthen the capacity of the institution to ensure that it has the ability to execute the project. Thank you.
So the project also conducted a risk assessment, focusing on land acquisition and the associated risks, the risks associated with financing, design and construction, operations and maintenance risks, as well as the foreign exchange and environmental and social risks. And the assessment showed a very strong rating an excellent rating of 4.83. And this rating basically means that the risks associated with this project have been identified and the mitigation measures put in place to make sure that the project is successful and the implementation takes due course, and that we have a final product. The risks identified will continuously be assessed and mitigation measures drawn to make sure that the project is taken to completion. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you very much. And the project also carried out an institutional capability analysis of the contracting agency, and this is Uganda Railways Corporation. And our score was 4.0, which is really strong, moderately strong, implying that the institution is capable of fully executing this project, given the different structures available, like a PPP unit to guide the procurement process, an overseeing committee institutionalized by Ministry of Finance and Planning to oversee the implementing of the project. And so all this put together indicate that the institution is well capable of fully implementing this project. Thank you very much. Over to you, Joel.
Thank you, Ruth and the team. So we also looked at the challenges that are going to be faced by the project throughout the implementation. And we realized that there were some few challenges that include the absence of detailed cost benefit analysis and demand projections. The cost of the project is identified at 21 million USD, but the expected outcome or revenue is not yet there. So it needs to be looked at. We also looked at the lack of comprehensive environmental and land acquisition reports. The reports on environmental analysis is not yet there. And also the land, which is supposed to be used to make access roads, is not yet, the report is not there. Then also lastly, we looked at the limited private sector engagement data. You find that the private sector actors are not yet brought on board, like importers, exporters, the local producers. There is no data given to them. So those are the challenges that we realize the project is going to face, and it has to be mitigated in order for the project to succeed. Thank you so much. I invite Oliver to take us through the recommendations.
Yes, with the following, we made the following recommendation. We recommend that a full feasibility and a cost-benefit analysis studies should be done. We also recommended that environmental and social impact assessment should be done to assess the impact of the project on the environment and the social life in the community. We also recommended that finalized land acquisition and legal due diligence should be done. This to reduce the impact of conflict involved in the land acquisition and ensure that the resources are available. And lastly, we recommend that the project during the PPP project team should be established to ensure governance structure is followed for monitoring and evaluation, not forgetting a dedicated project steering and a committee should be established to oversee the project. Thank you. Let me welcome Ebo.
Thank you, team. Having looked at the strength and the challenges of the GULU Logistics Hub as a PPP, as a team, we conclude that the project is very viable given its strategic significance and its economic viability, not just to the people of Northern Uganda, but also to the East African region and the East African biggest markets of South Sudan and DRC. We conclude by saying that the project is very viable and the government of Uganda should immediately adopt it. Thank you so much. Below are the references that the team has made after a thorough literature review to back our presentation. Thank you so much.